Hello, my name is METİN Arıdaşır. This is 397th part of explanation of my theory. Arıdaşır's mine new electron level vision theory explains how is continuous matter perceived as discrete, quantized. Arıdaşır's mine new vision theory, two actors of seeing, free electron motion form and proton-bound electron motion form. And there are two types of light, so on and so forth. Yes, does light come out of our eyes and hit objects, or does it come in from outside and hit our eyes? Does our eyes produce light, or is there an external source of light? Both are true. But what are light sources and light types of outer and inner are different. But these two impact phenomena are not the cause of the vision, because there is no such thing as a collision, and the mutual interaction between these two different type light sources is not in the form of collision, but rather involves the angular motion of these two waves is related to their interaction, to their intersection, and their tangential speeds. Don't forget, according to me, on a point of motion surface of electron motion forms, whether proton-bound or free electrons, a point cyclical tangential speed is 6.28 times greater than the speed of light. As I told you before, these speeds encounter and free electron motion forms consecutive waves, effective consecutive waves. Okay, first, second, third, etc. Wave number multiplied by tangential speed, increasingly tangential speed, integer number of wave number increase, then effects different. Okay, I don't want to confuse now. In the phenomenon of vision, the external effective light source is free electron motion forms. The internal passive light source is proton-bound electron motion form. But real source of vision is proton-bound electron motion forms in retinal atoms. The main reason for vision is the change of inner adiabatic medium of proton-bound electron motion form. Don't forget, an electron motion form is not point particle. It is three-dimensional. It has volume. Yes. The main reason for vision is the change of inner adiabatic medium of proton-bound electron motion form by its expanding, shrinking, and pushing out part of its inner medium to outside as a single wave pulse under the effects of consecutive waves of free electron motion forms. Yes, the reasons of regular sensation discontinuity in vision. According to me, vision is rooted in inner adiabatic medium change of proton-bound electron motion form. This change is caused by both the expanding and contracting structure of the proton-bound electron motion form and the number of waves of free electron motion forms that cause it. don't forget, as I told you before, each specific spectral line corresponds a specific single wave pulse that produced by proton-bound electron motion form. By the way, this single wave pulse is not what we see, producing by eyes, retinal atoms, proton-bound electron motion forms produced by them. But we don't see that. Okay. Single wave pulse is not what we see. The frequency of the proton-bound electron motion forms expansion and contraction process, which determined by the effects of free electron motion forms from outside effective waves certain numbers key is reflected in the proton-bound electron motion forms internal change responses intervals, a kind of frequency, response frequency, okay, producing, pouring out single wave pulse frequency like laser. Thus, again, if you want, I repeat. By the way, this single wave pulse is not what we see. The frequency of the proton-bound electron motion forms expansion and contraction process, which determined by the effects of free electron motion forms effective waves certain numbers key is reflected in the proton-bound electron motion forms internal change responses intervals or frequency. Thus, we see the continuous as discrete. We see the continuous as discrete. That's why we see the continuous spectrums from sunlight, from free electron motion forms sunlight or rainbow-like light, as the differently colors. That's why we see the continuous spectrums from free electron motion forms sunlight or rainbow-like light as the differently colors. Okay, I will go on next, but again, there are two main actors for vision. Vision occurs as a result of the mutual interaction of these actors. One of these actors is free electron motion form. That is the active source of all continuous spectrum. The other is proton-bound electron motion form. That is the passive source of all characteristic discontinuous light lines. Have a good afternoon. See you later.